Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Mark Collins.
And I'm meteorologist Katie Garner, and we're coming to you to talk about what's going to happen this afternoon.
Right, so for most of us, it's just going to be a typical day, warm, breezy, and pretty sunny until some clouds develop later in the afternoon. That will foreshadow a line of severe weather that's going to be impacting mainly southern Georgia. So these thunderstorms are going to pretty much bypass Jacksonville. We could see a few rogue showers or so, but most of the models show the rain staying to the north of Jacksonville, and there could be some strong or severe weather. That's why a weather authority alert covers southern Georgia from around 2 o'clock through at least 7, 8 o'clock tonight. That's when we'll see some of that weather moving through the area. But right now, as you can see, it looks pretty nice out there. We're seeing kind of hazy conditions, but the conditions are pretty dry, and the forecast is for weather to be changing as we head through the evening hours. So that's really when all those thunderstorms wind up back towards Waycross and Brunswick by late in the afternoon into the early evening hours. There is a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 2 o'clock for all those counties in yellow. And the thing is, those counties will likely be shifted into central Georgia and across the Carolinas later in the day.
I've got family up in the Carolinas. They were asking about this, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely going to be impactful to you all. And, you know, for us, we were talking this morning a lot of the more severe threat, like the slight risk and the enhanced, are up in Georgia. So a couple of parents emailed, they said, hey, should my kids, you know, be worried when they come in from school? Not so much in Florida. I mean, pack the raincoat, but don't be so much worried about it in Florida.
So we're seeing here that line. This is actually a very stretched out linear line. There are a few thunderstorms that are capable of isolated tornadoes, but when it becomes quite linear, it's more of an indicative of straight line wind damage. Now, there was one tornado warning just to the west of Gulfport, Mississippi, so you can't rule out a few isolated tornadoes, but really the main threat is the type of straight line wind damage is associated with a squall line. So this is running out in advance of that cold front. So this front will be kind of moving eastward, but then the dynamics that are causing the severe weather will weaken somewhat. And that's what the models are showing us here that should happen as we head into the evening. So notice no rain over us now, no rain over Georgia right now, but by, say, the mid-morning to lunchtime hours, we'll see some of that squall line activity that's over Birmingham reaching western Georgia, and then, say, by 3 to 4 o'clock could be getting close to Waycross, which is in our northern portion of our viewing area. So this is the Storm Prediction Center's area of what they call the convective outlook. So when you see the orange area, that is a zone where there could be numerous severe thunderstorms, and that skirts our viewing area in Pierce County, and then it extends all the way back outside our viewing area into Tallahassee. The yellow area means that there could be some thunderstorms, especially along I-10 and points northward. Now, I think there's a margin of error there, a padding, if you will, of that yellow. So most of the models keep the thunderstorm activity from the St. Mary's River and points northward, and then just marginal showers in green, which covers our areas to the south. So the models here are indicating very limited rainfall potential in our southern zone, so only about 10 to 20%. So for those of you that are across the state line, that's your area where you'll probably see a better risk of rain. The future forecast here, this is showing how the rain comes into the area. This is 1:30.
A couple of showers ahead of that front, not much. But if you see it, don't be too worried. This really isn't going to get going until a lot later in the day.
So these are just like rogue showers that are showing up that won't add up to much rain. And then once we head towards the early evening hour, you can see that consolidated line that we were showing you over the Mississippi Valley. It does break up. So there'll be that rain coming through and weakening as it does so, but there's still likely to be enough atmospheric heating where we could have some lightning and thunder there. And areas around Waycross and points northward, that's going to be the better risk for severe weather. So that was one model. Now we're going to look at a separate model. We just showed you the HERD. This is the Barron 3 kilometer. And it is wetter, but it is farther north with the rain. So this one is even drier in our parts of our area, whereas the rain looks heavier north of Waycross. And again, this model doesn't show much of that rain coming into Jacksonville, so it's keeping us dry as that line stays more northward. And then the front comes through tomorrow, and that is not a cold front that would bring us a drop in temperatures. If anything, we're going to be getting warmer through the week's end.
Almost 90. It looked like at 90 potentially for Saturday.
Very hot conditions come in behind this front, because this front is actually going to dry us out, and with the dry weather in place, the temperatures are going to rebound and get quite warm. In fact, today our record is 89 degrees on this date. If we get to 86, 87, which is a very plausible forecast, that would be just a few degrees from tying a record.
We're getting closer,
The heat is coming in here, and you're going to feel it today with those southwesterly winds, and then this week it stays hot as that dry air stays with us. All right, so speaking of the winds, you notice that onshore flow there will be coming in later in the week, so it might not be as cool along the beaches. Now, this is the forecasted rain this afternoon. As much as a ½ inch of rain is possible in southern Georgia, but notice that the amounts are very scant to almost none here in northeast Florida. So the models are buying in on keeping us relatively dry with just a brief shower or two. Yesterday we had the rain that we had throughout the day on Sunday added up to about 3/10 of an inch of rain. So over a quarter of an inch of rain fell, but it was light rain and it was spread out through the course of the day.
Yeah, it
now,
was.
There were some areas out in the I-75 corridor that had over 3 and 4 inches of rain. So it was much heavier there, but the majority of us didn't see any of that heavy rain that was in the area. So after today, really not much rain is expected. On Tuesday, we could see a few isolated showers, but the tendency will be for drier weather. So we talked about the warm weather. Here we go. Today, we're looking
honestly, you know what? Those that are going to see very little rain, this is a nice day. You got to stay hydrated. You got to think about the sunscreen. Those are the things you have to think about, especially in the coming days. Like I was telling you, I was at the beach this weekend. It was hot.
It was hot,
and it's going to get even really like a lot hotter as we continue.
It was a great beach day on Saturday, but then Sunday we had the rain that was forecasted, and we were actually I was at the beach, and the water temperature is still pretty chilly. It's 67 degrees, so it was a good beach day until you put your toes in.
I put my toes in and then I backed back up. I was like, I can't do this.
It was cold, so I was definitely wearing a spring suit out there. But with this type of weather forecast, I think we're going to break into the 70s here by the surf temperatures. We could get into the 70s by the weekend. So today the winds are picking up, and it's from the southwest, so that makes us pretty warm as we get into those southwesterly winds. It's going to allow those temperatures to get a little toasty here. And here you can see the gusts starting around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll have some wind gusts of 20 and 25 miles per hour through the course of the day. Now notice there, those shades of red, those are areas where we could see 30, 40, and possibly up to 50 mile per hour winds in some of those thunderstorms. And so the risk for high winds, if we get those thunderstorms, it could possibly, if they do drop down into Jacksonville, that would be the timing of seeing some of that severe weather. So we're looking at these temperatures well above normal. Typically, what's our average? 77?
77. 77 is our average. We're going to be in the 90s. I mean, we're really shooting up, and it's like you said, because that cold front comes through, dries us out nicely.
Yeah.
But with this is air that really is going to be impactful if you're out there running or even walking. You gotta watch yourself.
Yeah, it's going to feel like summer heat coming at us here for the weekend, because those temperatures will stay near 90 degrees for Saturday and Sunday. So count your blessings that you got some rain yesterday, because things are drying out here. And with the drying, the lack of rain in that forecast and the really warm temperatures, that could set the stage for an increasing risk for maybe some brush fires. That's a possibility. But looking here, that 40% chance of rain mainly in the Georgia area, with a 20% chance of rain for us here in Jacksonville and even tomorrow. And then that's it. We start to dry things out here, warm weather to take us through the upcoming work week, and we will be keeping our eyes here on the radar. Right now, things are really dry out there. We're not seeing any rain nearby in Jacksonville or in Georgia, and I think at the earliest, maybe like 3, 4 o'clock, we could get some rain, thunderstorms approaching areas west of Waycross, and then mainly early evening shower activity, especially from the I-10 corridor northward and that risk for severe weather is in play, mainly from Waycross to Brunswick and up into the Savannah area for late this afternoon and through the evening time frame. There you can see a beautiful
day
shot.
at the beach. Yeah, people
enjoy the
get out there
beach.
walking, but it's like you said, that water was cold, but people are braving it. They're getting in, so take advantage. Get out there while you can. Again, you're going to have a great day. It's really this afternoon, late afternoon and evening, and even Jack's Beach really should be not as bad as when you go up into St. Mary's or areas like that.
The waves are pretty big out there. Still a risk for rip currents, but as you can see, there's someone up in knee-deep water. Maybe it's a surfer, but there's very few people that are going to go out there and swim. So type of day where it's nice to look at the water, but as far as going out and taking a plunge, it's pretty chilly to be out there in the water. All right, so we're going to wrap things up here. It's 10:10 on this Monday morning. We are in here. You're going to be back at the noon show.
Absolutely.
Tracking those storms that will be out to our west, and then Richard will take over around 4, 5, and 6 o'clock this evening to walk the folks in Georgia through the rain that will be moving into the area. All right, thanks for watching us here on the News for Plus Weather Stream.